What's up, y'all? It's Vanelli Cuts. We're here at Beauty and Diversity. We're here with the owner, Sarai, which is also my little baby cousin. She's not a baby anymore, but I always see her as my little baby cousin. She's just 21. She's had an impressive career. She's a licensed esthetician. I hope I'm saying that right. She specializes in lash extensions, brow shaping, makeup. She does fine lining tattoos, cosmetic tattooing. She's going for her RN and real estate. She's an online fitness coach and an herbalist, and just so inspiring. And I'm so glad to have her today. How you feeling today?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm excited to be on here.
Yeah. How do you do it all? Like, whoa, that was quite the lineup.
Honestly, time management and just prioritizing things. So, yeah.
I love that. So let's just start from the beginning. What was your first thing that you tackled on? Was it lashes?
No. So my clients that have been with me since day one, I started off as a nail tech.
I do remember that.
Yeah, I started off as a nail tech at 15 years old, taking clients in my mom's attic. And I set everything up. And then a few months after doing nails, I discovered lashes. And that was right before COVID happened. And right around the time when I graduated at 16.
Wow. So you graduated high school at 16?
Yes.
Nice. I'm not doing that. I don't know this, but they don't know this, right?
Yeah.
So you graduated high school at 16. At 15, you started doing nails and lashes. What made you want to go into that direction and not like go to college or something, or like, you know, take the traditional route? What was your reasoning behind that?
So at the time when I got out of high school, I was in college. I was starting my prereqs for my RN at the time. And I don't know, something just kept telling me, it was like, see where this goes. Keep posting, keep taking clients. And then that was kind of the push to go take that class, go learn professionally now, like how to do this. And that's where I took the trip to Philly and I started taking classes out there for lashes. And once I started getting like a groove of that, I kind of came to realize like nails wasn't my thing, and that I love the art that you can create in lashes.
I think that's like the beauty of being young and trying it all. Like, you know, you could figure out like, hey, I don't like this anymore. And it's never too late either. Like, I don't want to say that just because she's young, she could just try all these things. You could be 40 years old and try all these things still and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So that's pretty cool. I actually do remember you doing nails. And then now you got into tattooing. Now that was something that started up a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, so I started up tattooing, which was like very, very on accident. It wasn't even supposed to be. Once I got my aesthetics license in 2020, I took a cosmetic tattooing class. And that kind of just showed me the fundamentals and everything into the cosmetic tattooing industry, which I do now and I love still. But it literally was one night at 2 a.m. One of my friends was like, yo, give me a tattoo with that tattoo gun. Mm-hmm. And me being 16, I was like, sure, why not?
Now, did you always draw?
I did. Throughout middle school, throughout high school, I was into like art classes. I also was doing makeup at the time, so always like sketching ideas of like makeup looks I wanted to do, because I was posting like little makeup looks here and there. So yeah, I was always into it. It was always something in me, whether it was to just draw on a sticky note or just like draw an art class or a portrait. It was definitely something that was in me.
Nice. So what would you describe yourself as? A tattoo artist? A lash tech? Like, what would you say that you do? Or are you just an artist?
I just say I'm an artist because I tell everybody it's just multi-personality disorder.
Oh my
God. It like literally just depends on like how it is and what I'm like scheduled for. But literally I just say like I'm just a 21-year-old artist. That's all.
That's super dope. So what is your favorite thing like to do? Like what is your favorite like thing to be booked at the moment?
At the moment, right now, I would have to say, like, out of all of the services I provide, that's hard. I would say, I don't even know. I would say tattooing right now. It would have to be like tied with my online coaching and tattooing.
Okay. I knew you were going to say tattooing. I just had a feeling. By the way, I got this tattoo with my cousin. Definitely check her out. But, all right. So, between juggling, I really can't say this. Esthetician. Being an esthetician. How do you say that? Esthetician. Esthetician. Okay. So, between that, fitness, being a mom, you're a young mom, medical assistant, and all other things that I named, how do you keep it all balanced?
My planner.
Okay.
Everybody that knows me, I carry my planner 24/7 and I write down everything in blocks. So that's how like I really am like to the T when it comes to like time management.
So you're like old school with it.
Yeah.
You're writing this down.
I am writing this down. I have learned, yeah, technology is amazing. I use it every day for my business, but I'm old school. I need to write it down. I need to see it. I need to physically like process it. So yeah, I do a bunch of to-do lists. I do a bunch of like block work. And yeah, just really time managing it.
I could agree. You know, time management is everything. I feel like I'm just a barber. I don't, you know, do all the other things that you do. But I know for me personally, I have to like write everything on my booking app. Like literally if I have a dentist appointment or something, so I'm constantly just on Booksy, and I use that for way more than just like my actual business. But let's take it back now. You said you do online coaching as well. What inspired you to do that?
That honestly was, which is crazy, like while I'm doing my services, like I would have clients that would come up to me like, hey Sarai, like I have this problem. Hey Sarai, what do I do for this? And even I could like backtrack to middle school, even my friends being like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I get this? How do I start this? And I was always that person that anybody would come to for anything.
Okay.
So definitely when I was going for my personal training license, and thinking about like time would be like the most effective, I came across online coaching and how today's society is like everybody is juggling stuff. So everybody barely has time to even take care of themselves. So then having the ability of doing online coaching and it being more flexible and more, I'm basically accommodating my clients' time, was amazing. So yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. So when you do online coaching, you're coaching fitness?
Fitness, and sometimes it can even be into like life and just like advice and be kind of that like little cheerleader on the side, like, hey, you got this, and hey, let's talk about your day.
That's super, super, super beautiful. And you mentioned doing cosmetic tattooing as well. So that is eyebrows.
So it is ombre powder, microblading, lip blush, freckles. There's also eyeliner, there's concealer, and then on top of that, I do paramedic tattooing.
That's what I wanted to really ask about.
So paramedic tattooing is basically, it's a whole category, but basically it's the services I provide is removal of stretch marks, removal of scars, and then we're gonna get into areola and all of that other fun stuff.
So that kind of goes hand in hand because, you know, you're a medical assistant that has some type of healthcare background, and then you're going for your RN. So how do you think that gives you kind of like an advantage in pursuing paramedic tattooing?
So honestly, it teaches you way more. Like you only learn like the baselines when it comes into paramedic. And yes, you can take the certifications, you can take the extra steps and everything. But also it just gives you, I would say, like more knowledge to know behind of everything. Like there's so much science that go into it, and even anatomy that not many people know about. So definitely it's like, for me, it's definitely more of the learning aspect that I'm benefiting basically.
Okay, so you keep learning as you go. Yeah. So what like motivates you to keep adding to your credentials? Because you're already doing so much, and it's like crazy. Because like I feel like I can't even keep up with half the stuff. So like, what motivates you to like keep adding?
Honestly, it's just knowing the end goal, the big picture I have for myself when I am like in my 40s and 50s, and knowing like everything I'm doing right now is to put all the like the little pieces of the puzzle together. And then also having my daughter was like the thing that really now just like keeps me focused and kind of prevents me getting distracted now. So
yeah, definitely. Having a kid gives you that extra drive and that extra push. What would you say is like one of the biggest challenges that you face? Whew, starting up. Go ahead, give it.
Starting up, I would say the biggest challenge was, since I started at 15, being looked down on. That was the biggest challenge for me, because I'm just this 15-year-old that's dabbling in an industry that is mainly 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds that are basically like the OGs of the industry.
Right.
So definitely coming in as basically fresh me at 15, not knowing who to turn to, not knowing how to juggle with things, not even knowing how to handle the business. That was definitely something that, and even like my clients still tell me today, like, wow, you've grown up so much. And
some of your clients, I imagine, have watched you grow up.
Yeah, I have had clients that have been with me for like 6-7 years and have been faithful to me since day one, and still come to me till this day, and now get all the other services now that I have add-on. So yeah, I would say that was like something.
Yeah, and that has to be a really good feeling. So what advice would you give to the young woman or the young gentleman that wants to start something, but they're scared because, or not scared, that's not a good word to say, but are hesitant to start up because they are so young? What advice could you give them?
I would say you have to really sit down with yourself and just know that your mind is your biggest enemy. And that your mind is going to trick you, and it's going to literally make you believe something that is not true. So you kind of have to like fight that. You have to fight yourself first before you even fight the world. So that is like the best advice, is really sit down with yourself and like tell yourself, say those positive affirmations like, yo, I got this, like I can do this. Like it's gonna be hard in the beginning, but it's gonna be worth it.
Keep on fighting.
Yep.
That's beautiful. I'm over here looking at her like a proud parent. This is my baby cousin, guys. So how have you had any mentors that like you've looked up to and stuff like that?
I have, and I've had like mentors that I have been able to like confide into and like be able to ask all these questions, especially when I was younger and not knowing where to like go or what to do. Definitely had some people along the way that I am like forever grateful to, the ones that we no longer speak or the ones that are still in my life. Like I am so grateful I had people on my side that like wanted to see me win and gave me basically everything on a silver platter.
So you definitely feel like people helped you pave the way, you know, so that just goes to show that you can't just do it all by yourself. You definitely need to lean on people.
Yeah, networking and definitely putting yourself out there. Like, you never know what one simple conversation, what that can do and what doors that can open.
I literally just had an experience today where where did I go? I went to go buy something and the guy was just like, hey, we're just talking. And I just gave him a card and I was just like, hey, like I'm a barber, you know, I like your haircut. And I gave him the card, and next thing you know, he asked me for a couple, and he's like, I own my own business, I'm gonna give it to everyone at the business. So like, that just kind of piggybacks the way like you're saying, like you just never really know like what one conversation can lead to, or just like networking in general, how big that could be. So when you're picking up a new skill or diving into a new industry, what would you say how would you handle the learning and adapting?
Honestly, become a sponge. literally soak everything in and also ask other people. When I got into the tattooing industry, I was fresh me and I was coming from a whole different industry that we literally do lashes and makeup for a living. Tattooing is completely like the other side. I went to shops and I would talk to people and I would talk to the owners and be like, hey, like, I just have some questions. Let me ask. I even have friends that are in Miami tattooing and all over, like New York, New Jersey, and I would text them and be like, hey, like, let me ask some questions. And literally, like, if you go and look for it, people are going to give you the answers. You can't just sit there and sit in a bubble and, yeah, you can do as much research as you want, but there's still more information and still more things you need to learn that you just gotta put yourself out there and try it and see if it works.
So no matter what, can't let that fear hold you back. I'm gonna have to go. So from your viewpoint, you're a young business owner. How important is it to have a diverse set of skills at this point in 2025 with social media, with everything? We live in such a fast-paced world. How important do you think it is to have multiple skills?
Honestly, I think it's an important thing. Definitely something that I feel like a lot of people that I've spoken to, like what COVID taught us was you can't just lean on one thing. Because you never know how fast that can be taken away. So definitely being a diverse, multi-business owner, like, has its advantages because say one day, God forbid, something happens, like, I always have something else to lean on. Or if I can do one thing certain at a certain time, like, thank the Lord I have that, because if I didn't, who knows what happened.
Okay, and now I can see it. Beauty and diversity.
Yep.
That's the whole point, right?
Yep.
So, just to go further than that, what are some like myths or like some things that people might misinterpret when you have all of these things in front of you? Like what is something that you think that you can clear the air on that?
Honestly, that you have to stick to one thing.
Right.
That is a myth that I have been told like all my life, like, just stick to one thing, stick to one thing. And no, like, you can try different things. You can do different things. Cause you never know, like, at the end of the day, where that can go. Majority of the world right now, some of them are working jobs that they hate. Most people like, you clock into a 9 to 5 and that is a 9 to 5 that you hate with your passion. Like, deep down inside, you're a chef, you're a designer, you're a decorator, but you're not pursuing it because you have this mindset that you just have to stick to one thing. So yeah.
Do you think that that's what holds people back?
Yeah.
Most of the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of society and what we have normalized, that doing more than one thing makes you labeled as a mess.
Yeah.
So, and from personal experience, like, that's what I've been called before. Even when I was 17, 16, 18, like, people just label me as a mess and that I'm just all over the place, I do too much. But really, I'm happy with it. I get to clock in 1 second as one thing, the next second as another thing, and
so
that's what I do.
Those people that label you as a mess, can you clear the air right now? How do you prioritize and set your goals?
So from what I do, and this is something that I had to learn, and I learned from reading books, self-improvement books, is when it comes to goals, I do a 3-6-9, 3-month goal, 6-month goal, 9-month goal. And then I do a step-by-step goals. So for instance, when I was starting my tattooing, I wanted to become a tattoo artist. That's the goal. Tattoo artist, alright, what steps need to be taken? I need to go take my licenses and get everything, my credentials and everything. Okay, what I need to do before that, I need to be an apprentice. I need to get my hands on. I need to practice and learn everything. Okay, what's before that? All right, I need to sit down and look for a place. I need to actually see if anybody will take me in. So that's how I have kind of been able to accomplish my goals, is just being focused, determined, and disciplined, and writing the step-by-step, because I feel like that also is what holds everybody back, because they don't do that sit down with themselves and prioritize and do the steps. And that's how I do my 3-6-9 method of my short term, my middle term, and my long term. That's how I do it.
Where do you get all this drive from?
I have no idea. I cannot even tell you.
Based off of the strength of wanting to be great, huh?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That was a real life gem right there. 3-6-9. Like, I'm over here, copy, paste. Yeah. 3-6-9, guys. So in the midst of all of that, how do you make time for yourself? Because, like, you're doing all of this stuff. You're, trying to build the future. You're still learning. Like, you're still, like, educating, right? You're not, like, fully there. Like, you're still getting your RN, and you're still, what else are you?
I'm also getting my real estate license.
Real estate. So, like, that's a lot to juggle with actually running businesses and stuff like that. So how do you make time for yourself?
So right now I have a rule. Sundays I take off.
Okay. Sunday reset. I be seeing that.
Sunday reset.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Sunday reset. My phone's on do not disturb. No one can call me, text me, nothing. That is a day that I go to church. I dedicate to God and basically just do my one-on-one time with Him, and also I do my one-on-one time with my daughter. And I do also quarter rewards, and my quarter rewards would be, all right, let's take a weekend, no work, let's go on a trip.
Okay.
So that's how I get to kind of reward myself and kind of get back in tune with myself and do like a check-in with myself and be like, all right, you're good.
And I would imagine that helps you stay focused, because you have kind of like, that a breather's coming in. So it's like go, go, go.
Yeah.
And then, because it's easy to burn out. It's very easy to burn out. Like I said, I'm just a barber. I'm a full-time mom, and I do this vanilla cup scoop of the day. And, I be feeling like it's just like crazy and mayhem. So, it's easy to burn out, and that's important to take those extra days off. What advice could you give to the young lady that's not so sure about starting a career or kind of finding their lane, that struggles in, like a person that struggles just, like kind of just trying to pick a career? That was a hard one.
Yeah, oh my, that is a hard one, because especially being a young lady, you have so much to learn about yourself still. So my best advice is don't sit there and plan every single second of your life out, because you never know what can change and what one little thing you do can do for your rest of your life. I had my mind set at 15 years old that I was going to be a neurosurgeon and that I was going to go into the military, and that was my life. I set that goal up when I was, I would say 11, 12, and that was my mind ever since I was 15. If I would have never picked up those pair of tweezers and post my first post of, hey, I'm taking clients for $20, I would not have beauty and diversity.
Wow.
I would have never. So don't sit there and try to plan your whole life out. You have so much life to live. You have so much you have to experience and learn about yourself. Try it all.
Try it all. So that's beautiful advice. It kind of contradicts my next one of not planning your life. But where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
So I see beauty and diversity. I see beauty and diversity expanding, and beauty and inks expanding. Definitely creating a team. Definitely putting all the pieces together. Where I see Sarai Corrales is making more time for my daughter and traveling.
So you talk about Sarai Corrales, you talk about beauty and with Inks and beauty and diversity as three separate entities. Do you feel like that sometimes? Like you're pulled in three different directions?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes?
Absolutely. Just because for the longest, no one even knew my name. I was only beauty and diversity, and that was my identity. So definitely, and that also had to do with growing up, finding out that I'm not just this lash tech. I love being a lash tech, but that's not my personality, and that's not what defines me. I am also an online coach, and I love helping, and I love putting myself out there, making content, and just kind of connecting with the world. I also love doing real estate and looking into that and sales in the market. And I also am an artist, and I love to just let my creative self go out sometimes. So, yep.
I'll say that you are a true creative. So it's kind of not crazy, but it's interesting to see that you want to go the real estate route as well. What is drawing you to that? You said something about the market and stuff like that, because that seems like it's a lot of dotting I's, crossing your T's, zeros and ones, and lashes and all that. It's like more of a creative, free spirit. So what's drawing you to do something more in that aspect?
It's basically kind of setting myself up, not just for being financially stable now, but also it's kind of the mind, and I guess this is just having kids, where you start thinking about wealth and building a stream for your child and building generational wealth. Because of me taking this little step and me missing out on all the fun and all the stuff every 21-year-old is doing, I know my family in the next 20, 30 years are going to be set for the rest of their life. And that was something I had to just look into and think like, okay, this is wealth now, but I need also to build something for the generations to come.
Right. That's beautiful. But I can only imagine that comes with a lot of heavy weight on your back.
Yeah.
So you're only 21 years old, How do you refrain from letting that pressure kind of crumble?
It's a lot of journaling and just viewing what's inside and giving yourself grace. Remembering that, yes, you are pulled in 50 different directions, but you're still human, you're still 21.
Okay.
Don't take life too seriously. Yeah.
I love that. That was backtrack. Sorry, I kind of went off these cards, but that's okay. Do you have a set schedule? Where Mondays you do this and Tuesdays you do that? Is that a thing for you, or you kind of just, your books are open and whatever gets booked? That's where I think I have a difficulty of understanding. I imagine for medical assistant you have your schedule, but for tattoos and stuff, is every day a tattoo day as well with lashes and your book's open for all that, and then they could just choose those services?
So I do scheduled days. So Mondays, usually I'm closed, but if anything, those are my dates for lashes. Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays are my tattooing, my dedicated tattooing days. Fridays, I kind of leave that to my clients sometimes, but I never like to mix services together. So usually one Friday will be a lash day, another Friday will be a tattooing day, and then Wednesdays are lashing days.
All right, that's beautiful. I just needed to get that out there, along with your Instagrams. Let them know where they can find you.
So you guys can find me at Sarai Corrales, and also you guys can find me at Beauty Diversity _ and Beauty with Inks on Instagram and Facebook.
Beautiful. So I'll definitely have that up here. I always say that I'm going to have it up here and I never do, but I'm going to remember this time I'm going to have it up there. And finishing thoughts, is there any advice that you'd like to just give anybody watching right now that you hope a message that they would receive from this interview today?
What I have to say is just keep going. You never know where life's gonna take you, and you never know what could happen, but don't let that stop you. That is something that I just have to tell everybody.
Amen. You heard it here first, guys. Keep going, keep it diverse, and just stay beautiful. That's the scoop today. Thank you, Sarah, for being here today. Sarai.
Oh my gosh.
I love you, cousin.
Love you too.